Happy Sunday! Or maybe it's not a happy Sunday. Sunday, Bloody Sunday, like by you two. Do you ever have those days when you wake up and for absolutely no reason you're just in a pissed off mood? Welcome to the life of Peter Monn today. I don't have any reason to be upset today, but I'm just like super edgy. I really don't know what it is. I'm just like, ugh. And Alex texted me and was like, oh, Sarah and I are gonna go get brunch at Cafe Parachute. Do you wanna meet us? And I was like, nope, just woke up, don't really feel like it. And then, I don't know which dog it is, but I think it's Pee-Pee because Pee-Pee's getting a little bit older, but like one of the dogs kind of like peed the bed a little bit, like just a little bit, which I know is gross, but like they don't ever do it. So I like have to wash all the bedding. Hold on a second, please.
Thanks for stopping at Starbucks. This is Shelton. What can I get started for you today?
Can I get a venti iced coffee with 2 equal, please?
Venti iced coffee with 2 equal. Come on around.
And so I was like, I'm just gonna go and to the laundromat because, you know, we don't have a dryer because we're lazy asses. And we haven't spent any time getting a dryer yet. So I was like, I'm just gonna...
$3.22.
Can I get a receipt too, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. I love the sounds of Starbucks. It always sounds like...
Thank you.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. But then I was just like, okay, well, we need to just go buy a dryer. Well, we need to go buy a new washer and dryer, is the truth of the nature. But I was like, well, I'll just go to the laundromat then, and I'll just get all this stuff done today, because I haven't done my laundry from the Florida trip, and I haven't done, we've got all this wash and stuff, and so I was like, I'll just go do all this wash. And I don't know, something clicked in me when I was putting it together, and I was like, I don't want to spend the whole day doing laundry, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and I just got like real entitled and real shitty. Do you ever get like that? I just was like, I don't want to spend my Sunday just doing laundry. And the reality is that this week, the way that my week is scheduled, my Sunday is not a whole lot different than my Monday or Tuesday. I mean, I have the next 2 days off, I could do laundry. Probably should have waited because it's absolutely packed at the laundromat today. And, I can't remember who sent it to me, but somebody sent me a pad for my camera, and I really need to use it so you guys are soundproofed. My husband like texted me like 3 times that he was leaving Cafe Parachute, and then he never texted me back. I was like, well, what are you gonna... Oh, here he did text me. He said he's relaxing. I guess is that he might be a little hungover, because when I was with Tanya last night, he called me. People ever call you when they're like drunk and they want to tell you this story and you have like absolutely no interest in it whatsoever and you're trying to be really nice? So he called me last night and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm driving around getting a Coke with Tanya. And he was like, tell Tanya I said hi. And then he was like, so they're like in a part of Indianapolis called Noblesville. Like this is where they stayed at this hotel and where this like wedding reception was. And there's nothing to do there. In fact, I texted him and I was like, what are you guys gonna do afterwards? And he was like, probably nothing. Sarah's really tired. And I go, well, there's some pretty hot clubs in Noblesville, I heard. And I put that like painting your fingernail emoji because there's like nothing to do in Noblesville. It's like dead, right? Like the hottest thing to do is this bar called Sid's on the square. And let me just tell you, it ain't pretty. So, they like went back to the hotel and they were just like sitting around and he's like telling me this story and he's like, and this and that and whatever, and you know, but like, oh, and this person said this and and you don't know who any of these people are and you don't really care. Have you like, do you ever what was that noise? Something hit my car. Do you have friends or like your husband or wife does that to you? And he rarely ever like drinks like that. And he wasn't even really, what was so funny was he was kind of rambling, but he wasn't even like that intoxicated. So I was tolerant of it. But finally I look over at Tanya and Tanya goes, like, pull the story out. I mean, it went on and he's like, and then, and then oh, drunk folk. But anyway, so he's home now relaxing. I need a relaxing day. I need a day of no laundry. I need a like pedicure massage day. Taken out to dinner, not have to take care of the dogs for a day. That's what Peter needs. Because Peter very rarely, although I just got back from a week in Florida, that's such bullshit. I shouldn't say that. But like when I'm home, like I very rarely take like a pamper day. Do you guys do that? Like where you just pamper yourself? Like I really like, if I'm at home, I don't do that very often. And I used to, like one Monday a month, I would go get like a full body massage for 90 minutes. And then I always aligned it with like my hair appointment day and all this kind of stuff. And then I would go eat like some great meal somewhere. Even if I went by myself, I didn't care. And like, I never do that like really anymore. Like I don't really pamper myself like that. I think that's important. I think it's important to like treat yourself well, you know? I don't know. What do you all think? I'm just kind of rambling today. The one nice thing about the laundromat is this, is that, and I usually, because our washer at home works, so I usually wash stuff at home and then just dry it at the laundromat. But this new laundromat is like got superpower machines, and so like it takes literally like 33 minutes to wash huge loads. I had like comforters, sheets, towels, jeans, all kinds of stuff, right? 2 loads. And it'll be done in 33 minutes, and then it'll take me another 30 minutes to dry the stuff. So like my entire wash is done in an hour, which is pretty awesome. There's like geese everywhere just sitting on the road. Get on, geese. This guy is like chasing this newspaper. What is he doing? You had to have that you want to see this? Look. He had to have that newspaper. Do you see him? He chased it all across the parking lot. I think that's kind of funny. I sometimes wish I was super skinny like that. And I would wear like skinny jeans and Vans. I like that look. Of course I'm 44, so I don't know if I could really pull it off anymore, but... Well, I think I'm just gonna sit here and watch a little bit of my show, 13 Reasons Why, and wait for my laundry to be done, so I'll talk to you guys in a little while. We're back to normal. Alex and the dogs watching Game of Thrones and uploading videos.
Facing death with such strength and courage. I wonder,
I'm recording you.
can I ever be that strong?
So I just went and got my dinner because Alex has already eaten. Although he's going to Walmart, he has called me. He was like, I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to get some snacks. And I was like, will you give me some chocolate peanuts, please? I don't know why. So anyway, it sounds like chocolate penis, but no, I meant chocolate peanuts. I just love it, like bridge mix. So for dinner tonight, I wanted to show you this place. Well, first of all, this place in front of me used to be a Chinese restaurant, and now it's called which is like this sandwich place that is supposedly like absolutely incredible. But, and I think it's like a national chain, but I wanted to show you that right up here, Yats, can you see it? I don't want to get this guy in the video. But this place up here, Yats, is like one of my all-time favorite restaurants. If you're ever in Indianapolis, who is texting me? Oh, Alex called me again. If you're ever in Indianapolis, you gotta check it out. It's Cajun food. It is so delicious. And I got drunken chicken with extra bread. They have like this great French bread with all this butter on it and stuff. Probably not really healthy. And it's like Cajun, so it's like jambalaya, red beans and rice, things like that. And I get drunken chicken, which is like real spicy with extra bread. And then I got a piece of cookie butter pie. It's all homemade. They make it there. When you walk inside, they have like all these hot sauces, and I was gonna use this one, but I didn't know what it was called, because like they rename them things like Crystal's Delight and Spicy, Spicy, Spicy. And then they had one tonight, and it was called, like it had Ryan Gosling. They had taped his picture to it, but it said Ryan Sosling. And then like when you go get, like they have iced tea, and they have like sweet and not sweet, and like one is like Mr. T and the other one is somebody else. It's just hilarious. And then they have like this thing over their napkins that says, please only take as many as you need. We can't reuse them once you put them back, or something like that. And like in the bathroom, like to put up the seat, it says, please put up the seat before you urinate. You wouldn't do that at your mama's house. I mean, it's like all these funny signs, and it's like the most incredible food in the entire world. And I got a fountain drink, a huge portion, a huge size of drunken chicken, 4 pieces of bread that's like this big each, and a piece of pie, and it came to $12. So I think that's a pretty good deal, you know? Anyway, so Yats, it's like one of my top 2 or 3 favorite restaurants in Indianapolis. I love it. I eat it all the time. Oh, this girl's got all these kind of dogs in her car. They're so cute. You guys want to see? Look. I love when you can see dogs in cars. Look. They're like, Mom, you left. Mom, why'd you leave? Do you see them over there? They're so cute. Oh. Who is calling me so much? Anyway, okay, well, I'm gonna get home now because we're gonna watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you ever just wake up and you're in like a shitty mood the whole day? Like, I woke up today and I don't know what it was, but I have just been in a shitty mood all day. It's like I just can't get out of it. The only like really good hour and a half that I had today was when Alex and I watched RuPaul's Drag Race and just sat there and laughed together. And then I took a nap because I had a sobriety thing tonight, a meeting, and so he came up and took a nap with me like right before I was having to get up. And he was gonna go over and say goodbye to his friend Sarah today, and then came home at like 11 o'clock because I go to a candlelight meeting on Sunday nights. And he was like, still in bed, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just gonna sleep through the night, I'm so tired. He laid down at like 7:30 or something like that. That boy can sleep. So anyway, I was like, okay, and all the dogs were with him. Boo Radley is like so proud of his, like, I'm like wiggling like Boo Radley. He's so proud of his new haircut. And I said something to Tanya, and she's like, dogs get really proud of their haircuts. Like, they prance and they like sit up straight, and it's so funny. So, but like, we haven't been able to find Boo Radley like when we've been looking for him, and he always goes down to his crate, and we call it his house. It's like down by the basement where he and Tucker are, and I haven't been able to find him the last couple. I'll be like, Boo, Boo, and like he doesn't come running because he doesn't really know his name. He's such a Boo Radley. And every time I've looked for him, he's like up in the bedroom sleeping on Alex's pillow. It's so sweet. And anyway, it's so sweet. I don't really know why I've been in a bad mood today, but I have. But look what Alex bought me. He bought me a whole bag of peanut M&Ms. Isn't that so sweet of him? My husband loves me. Sometimes. Do you ever just fight with your partner over the stupidest shit? Okay, can I just tell you something? So I drive around and I listen to audiobooks. I so shouldn't have started to eat, but and I'm listening to this Rising Sun or Red Sun or whatever it's called by Michael Crichton. So good. And as I'm driving around, I'm always like, oh my God, all of a sudden I always end up right by that stupid, I'm like right there right now by that Fox Hollow Farms. I'm like literally like 2 blocks from it. And I'm like, just get me closer to my house. I don't like being close to it. And I was talking to Melissa about it, and I was like, because Melissa and I hadn't seen each other a lot because she went out of town. She went to Naples, Florida, and then she went to Laguna because they have friends out there. And so we hadn't really talked much since I did my video, and she hadn't watched my video about how I met a serial killer. And I was like, Melissa, I got so sick that day that we went out there. And then I got over it like 4 or 5 days later, and then I went back out there to film that I met a serial killer, and I got sick again. And she was like, are you kidding? She's like, well, she was like, you know, probably because of like you're so sensitive to that stuff. She was like, I bet you picked that up out there. And I was like, I bet I did. I was like, I don't know. And she's like, so Melissa has a friend that lives in the neighborhood behind it who told us that we could park over there and you can walk on the Monn and the trail. It's like this path. And then you can like see right into the back of the house, like where they film it and stuff. And Melissa's like, you don't want to do that? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of creeped out by it now. I'm not really sure I want to do that. So yeah, it's like, here's the roundabout and this is the street. And if you go that way on the roundabout, you end up at the house. Literally in 2 blocks, and I don't like it at all. It's so creepy. I am so peeling, and so many people have commented on it below, and they're like, did you use sunscreen? Yes, I use sunscreen. I really, like I said, I rarely ever burn. And then somebody else said maybe it was because of the wind, but it wasn't windy that day. I just think like I hadn't been out in the sun for so long, really since the summer before, that because I love to go down to the pool and read, so I kind of do get tan in the summer. And I just don't think I had been tan since last summer, and so I think I was like, I don't know, I just think that's why I burned. And the really weird thing is, like, my back didn't burn. I'm like peeling here, like right here, which is so strange. And I like never peel here. It's like, I am so like, can you guys see that? I'm like so dark and peeling. It's so gross. I like literally take my clothes off in the bathroom and like all this like skin just like falls. You guys are probably like, we don't want to know that. Well, we do now. And I am so, my God, I am so into that show, 13 Reasons Why. But it's so different than the book. Like, I mean, I love it. Like, the show is really good. And another show came out tonight on Netflix, or came out this week, called Border Town, I think it's called, that I really want to watch. About these killings that happen in this small town by this detective finds all these murders. But 13 Reasons Why is so well done. And I kept on watching the kid that's like the main star, and I was like, how do I know him? I thought it was Charlie from Perks of Being a Wallflower, and so I finally looked up the cast, and I was like, he hasn't been in anything that I've ever watched. How do I know this kid? I mean, I knew this kid. Like, I had seen him in something that kind of had like an impact on me. And like, so I like scanned over on the arrow, and it was like the last thing was he had been in Saving Grace, the TV show with Holly Hunter. Oh my God, I loved that show so much, Saving Grace. Did you guys watch that show about the police detective that had the angel? And it was with Holly Hunter. I think his name was Earl. I think her angel's name was Earl. And oh my God, that was such a great show. And she, it took place in Oklahoma City, and talked about the Oklahoma City bombing, and she had lost a brother in it, and she came from a big like Irish or Italian Catholic family. And God, it was such a great show. And it ended, I hated the ending of the show. I really hated the ending of the show, I will say that. Like, I usually love how shows end. Like Roseanne, profound. The Wonder Years, I'll never forget how the Wonder Years ended. Loved it. Little House on the Prairie, I could not stand how that ended. I thought it was the worst ending ever. Lost, so many people say that Lost ended horribly, but I loved how Lost ended. I thought it was so good. And then, of course, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, if you know how that ended, where they were all, like, hugging and moving. Like, that was great. I love, like, to watch series from the beginning to the end. And I'll never forget, like, so my ex and I, like, 2 years before we broke up, we went and like bought all the DVDs of Lost, and we like just watched them. Like, one weekend we watched one season, and it was like up to, I think if Lost had 6 seasons, I think we like it was like the last 3 seasons or something like that. So we watched like the first 3 seasons and then like to catch up and watch it. And so I remember like sitting in my living room, and Alex and I had just started dating. No, because it ended like in the spring. So we would have been dating for like 6 months. And I remember like sitting on the couch watching the end of Lost, which I just thought was such a profound ending to a TV series. Lost did something to me that books do to me. Like, it was so much more than just a TV show. Like, I felt like I was part of their family. Like, I felt like I was in that show. And I think if you watch Lost, like from the beginning to the end, like, I don't know how you couldn't feel that way. The show was so well written. The show was so well done. Especially, I think, if you watch the episodes like back to back to back, like we did, like you really got into it. Like, I can literally remember watching, like, this was before Netflix when series were on TV. Like, I can literally remember like us sitting there and being like, you want to watch another episode? And we would watch like 8 episodes in a row, 6 episodes in a row. But I remember sitting on this couch that we don't have anymore because we got rid of it. But this is before we redid our floors and we had carpeting and with this huge couch in front of the fireplace and different TV and stuff. Anyway, and I remember like Alex didn't watch Lost. He won't watch it. I'm like, you need to watch Lost. I must have said at some point that it's a show that reminds me of my ex and I, and he doesn't want to watch it for that reason. I don't know, but I was like, you really should watch Lost. And he's like, no, it's just not something I would like. I'm like, how would you know? It's so good. But I remember sitting on that couch, I've said that like 5 times now, and just sobbing. Like, it just was the end of an era to me. It was like, my mom had passed away, my ex and I had broken up, I quit my other job that I had had for 13 years, and then Lost ended, and it was just like, I don't know, it was that moment that I realized that like my life felt different to me, like my life had changed. Did you ever have moments like that with like pop culture stuff? Like when maybe like a favorite actress or actor dies and you're like, wow, like they've been the constant, like, I remember like my aunt talking about movies that she wanted to see that were coming out in the spring. And she said to me, well, actually my uncle said to me something about, like, he doesn't watch TV shows anymore, he watches movies, he always has, my Uncle Dave literally sees every movie that ever comes out, and he's like, I don't even know that I'll be here for the next season to come out of a TV show, so why watch it? And we were talking about some movie, and he was like, I don't know that I'll be here. I was like, Uncle Dave, don't say that. And then like my aunt passed away, and I thought, it's such a weird thought, isn't it? That like you would get excited about a movie coming out, and then you might not even be here to see it. I had the weirdest dream about my mom. I don't know if I talked about this. I talked about it with Tanya, and actually right here where I'm driving, we were driving through here the other night, and I was telling her about it. I had a dream. Did I talk about this on here? You know, they say that spirits visit you in your dreams sometimes. Well, I had a dream that my friend Craig, who I have been friends with for like, okay, so I'm 44. Craig and I went on a date. Oh, God. So I lost my virginity to Craig. But when I was 20 years old, yeah, I met him before I was 21. So I've known him for 24 years. And he's happily married and to a man and lives in Florida. And he's an awesome guy. And he's just a really good friend. We went on a date and then decided after the date that maybe we would just be better friends. I'm like, how honest do I want to be on my vlog? Okay, so Craig is super cute, and he's a laser eye surgeon, and he is just amazing, and I love him, and he's just such a good person, like, heart of stone good person. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, I so should have dated Craig. Like, we should have just like stayed together. Like, I really fucked up there. Like, but we wouldn't, because we're too good of friends. Like, it never would have happened, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, I love him, but not in that way. And we rarely ever talk anymore, which is kind of sad. So anyway, but I have this dream, and in the dream, and maybe the dream is like, because my mother adored Craig, and maybe the dream is, you know, my mom telling me to reach out to Craig. But anyway, I had this dream that she won an Oscar and that she was like showing it to me, and she had real short hair in her dream, when she never had short hair like that in her whole life. Even when her hair was like shorter at the end of her life, it was very Victoria Beckham, but longer, and like she would tuck it behind her ear. It was like in a longer bob, and my mom always had platinum blonde hair. She dyed it, like, always. Bleached it. She said in high school one time she bleached her hair and she put it up in a towel and she fell asleep, and when she woke up she like sat up really quick and like went like that, and she like broke off her bangs, and her bangs were like that short, and this was before that was popular, and she had to wear them to school, and she literally had to cut them because they were like so like gross and jagged, and so she had bangs that were like that big, that long, and she said that all the girls like wanted their hair like that. It had been a total mistake because she had like left the bleach in her hair too long. But anyway, my mom always had platinum blonde hair her whole life, and except for when she had alopecia, which was the year that she got sober. She got alopecia, and I'll tell about the dream in just a second. So my mom got alopecia areata, which is male pattern balding in women, but it can be stress related. And for my mom, I think it was stress related, and just clumps of hair would come out. It was so sad. And she was going and getting cortisone shots in her scalp, and she would just cry. She would come home and just cry, and she would say, "It's so painful, it's so painful." And one day the doctor said to her, "You know, I really think that you should think about going the route of like wigs." And my mom, up to that point, had been wearing like scarves and hats and things like that. And she went downstairs, and apparently underneath this doctor's office, there was like a wig store there, like a medical wig store. And she went in there, and these wigs were like $200. And she said she put one on, and it was like so itchy, and it didn't look natural. And she just got so depressed, and she came home, and she like decided that she was just gonna let go of all of it, and she was gonna cut her hair real short, and she did. She cut it like boy short, like really short, with just holes everywhere where she had lost it, and she wasn't gonna get the cortisone shots anymore. And if she was just not meant to have hair, she wouldn't have hair. My mother's hair grew back, I mean to tell you, in 6 months, okay? And she believed that once she let go of the stress of losing her hair, that's when things got better. And so for my cousin's wedding, it's the picture that I have in my office that I show sometimes on here. My mom has like a bob, kind of, like both bangs, and her hair is like brown. And when it grew back like thicker and stronger, and a color that it had never been in her whole life. Like, she's like, it was never this color, this like light brown. Like, she always had like dark roots if she didn't color her hair. And she's like, my hair was never this color. And she almost thought about keeping it, and then she was like, no, I love being a blonde, so she colored it back blonde. But anyway, I had this dream, and she had real short hair in her dream, and she had won an Oscar, and I was like, Mom, what did you win an Oscar for? And she was, I feel like I told this story on here already. I don't forget what I say sometimes. But anyway, she like, there's somebody that watches all of my videos. I can't remember what, I can think of what her Snapchat name is, and I don't want to say it right now, but she lives in Indianapolis, and she lives on Geist, and she knows who she is, and she just sent me a snap the other day of this host. She's like this host at Meijer, which is like Walmart if you don't know, and this woman playing organ, and like, I'm like literally right now, so sweetie, when you snap me, I just want you to know right now, like, I'm about like a mile from where you live, because she described to me where you live. So if you got in your car right now, of course you'd be watching this the next day, I'd be right by your house. I should totally do a meetup at Walmart, don't you think? I'm a famous YouTuber doing a meetup at Walmart. Oh, by the way, if you guys could do me a really big favor, if I haven't mentioned this already, like right now, if you could stop the video and check, could you make sure you're still subscribed to my channel, and also hit the notification bell to the right of the subscribe button? Because a lot of people are telling me that they're not subscribed to my channel anymore. It would really mean the world to me. And, you know, whereas I know I preach a lot about like subscriber and all that kind of stuff doesn't mean anything, it makes me sad when people are like, well, I'm 4 days behind on your vlog, and because I didn't get notified because I don't have the notifications on, or because YouTube unsubscribing to me because YouTube is unsubscribing people. So if you could just check that, I would really appreciate that, you guys. Just make sure you're still subscribed and that the notification bell is turned on. That would be a little favor to Peter you could do today. On all of the channels, if you're subscribed to me on all of your channels. But don't, if you are subscribed, don't unsubscribe and then resubscribe, because that like counts against me with the glitch. So don't do that. Just make sure you're just still subscribed to me. So anyway, but I had this stream with my mom, and she had won this Oscar, and then she like gave Craig and I like a copy of the movie to watch on like VHS, and so we went and watched it, and she was like, she won for Best Supporting Actress or something, and I had this weird feeling. I was like, I think like in heaven, like I bet they have movies, and I bet they still do like acting, and they have an Oscar. Why wouldn't they? Like, you know, I believe in a very visual heaven. I don't know why, I just do. I believe in a very visual afterlife, and if that's the case, then you would have to think that they probably have movies there too, don't you think? You guys are like, okay, Peter, you just took it too far. But no, like seriously, you know? And the other thing is, I had this really weird dream that this house that my aunt used to live in when I was really little, that it is now like on this lake. And I'm like, so is that where my aunt lives now? Like in her old house on this lake? What is going on up here? There's a police officer, and of course there is. There's always a police officer somewhere. I'm gonna have to turn this light off for a second. Bear with me. Do you ever think it's interesting that police are either very, very nice or not nice at all? Like, it doesn't ever feel like there's like an in-between. Like, they're either like not nice or they're super nice. How do you come back this way though, is what I want to know. I guess you don't. Is the road turned off? Oh, is it just shut off that way? This is the weirdest construction I have ever seen in my entire life. So anyway, it made me miss my mom though. I've been thinking a lot about her. Somebody commented on my video the other day and they said, all you ever do is talk about your mom and how much you miss her, get over it. I was like, what a shitty thing to say to somebody. And then somebody said on my video tonight, they said, haven't you figured out by now we don't care what kind of content you make, we love you for your personality. So thank you for that. Like that, like those are like the, you guys have no idea. The comments that you guys leave me are just so wonderful. It just really makes me just, it sings my heart true. I don't know what that means, but I like how it sounds. Sometimes I like how words, like, when I was in French, like I took French in high school. I'm so bad at languages, which is why I've been with my husband almost 10 years and I still don't know Spanish. But like sometimes like I just like how words sound. Like I remember I used to love pamplemousse, which is like I think grapefruit, and les haricots verts, which is green beans. But like I didn't really care about using them in sentences. The other thing that's funny is we had to pick names in French. And I picked the name Antoine because it rhymes with my last name. So Madame Hensley, who was my French teacher, she was a bitch. She was a total bitch. I'm sorry if you're out there watching my videos, but you were. There was no need for it. I like teachers that were nice. I had this wonderful French teacher my first year. Her name was Mrs. Neer. Miss Neer, I think. She was single. I found out later that she passed away. It made me really sad. I'll never forget. I came into class one day. She's actually who I modeled my teacher after in my book that I wrote. And I actually put a scene in there that happened in that class. So if you read my book, the scene with the teacher that doesn't stop the bullying is exactly what happened in my French class. But she was really a nice teacher. And I was reading The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway, and she came up and she talked to me, and she just was a really awesome teacher and quiet, but I was like being bullied by this kid in class one day, and she didn't know how to stop it, and she didn't intervene. And I think sometimes teachers are afraid of making the situation worse, so they don't. I think teachers, emotionally feel bullied by bullies at school too, and they don't know what to do sometimes, and so they just stay silent. And so I don't necessarily think it's teachers not stepping in. I think they don't know what to do. I think we don't teach teachers how to handle situations like that, which is why I think a lot of times we don't have teachers. I did have a teacher, though, who was a lesbian, and I think the story is really interesting. I've told it a lot. But actually, I'm kind of surprised. I've told it so much. I'm kind of surprised that she hasn't ever found it and reached out to me. But she was the softball coach, and I was in a class one day, a study hall, and I really needed help on a math problem, and she had these football players sitting on her desk, talking to her, just chatting it up. And I went up there and I asked her, and I said, I really need help in this class, or on this thing, and whatever, because I was like failing out of math. And she said, well, then I suggested you go back and you open your book and look at it. And I was like, I'm asking for help. This is a math study hall. And she just laughed. She was like, why don't you go back to your desk and figure it out? And these football players laughed, like the three of them were friends or something like that. And I turned, and as I turned, I swear it was her, but it could have been one of the guys, but I swear it was her. One of them said fag underneath my breath, under their breath, and I turned around and I go, and I never stood up for myself in high school, and I said, excuse me, what did you say? And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything. I go, I heard what she said. Somebody called me a fag. And they all three of them laughed. And I went, and I spit on the desk. Not on her, on the desk. Not my proudest moment. I will own that, okay? I should never have done it. But I got sent to the office. My dad was livid. He came in there. I will never forget this. He came in there, and we had these like mounds of grass. And my dad at the time, I should edit this story down so it doesn't make me look real fancy, but I'm not going to. My dad at the time drove this cute little Porsche Carrera convertible, and the principal's office was right outside this one grass mound, and my dad parked on top of it. And storms into the school, and my car had been like messed with like unbelievably, like just graffiti and all kinds of stuff. And I'm sitting in the office, my dad comes in there, and the principal was like, you can't park there and whatever. My dad's like, I'm sorry, excuse me? And he was like, right there, you can't park there. You're like, we're gonna call the police. My dad's like, I'll tell you what you need to call the police on is why my kid, number one, is not safe in a classroom, and number two, his vehicle isn't safe. And until you can promise me those two things, I'm not moving, and neither is my car. So until you get your shit in order and start watching out for my kid, none of those two things are going to change. My dad was so pissed when he found out about this teacher in that class. And I don't even think anything ever happened to her, Nothing ever happened to me. I didn't get protected in class. I ended up getting suspended for it. It's bullshit. And I don't believe in victimizing myself, and I've grown from those experiences, and I'm not that person today, and I would never spit at somebody today. I think that's horrible I ever did that. I am ashamed of it. I wish I had never done it. But, I don't know. And my mother always taught me to hold my head up high and refuse to be a victim of other people's oppression, and I believe that, And she used to always teach me, too, not to value the opinion of those people I don't value to begin with. But that's hard, because I do want acceptance and validation from people, Such a cool thing. My dad's always had my back. Always. Always had my back. It didn't matter what it was. My dad had my back. And my dad always held me accountable. When I didn't do the things I needed to be doing, my dad was the first one to make me apologize, whether it was 5 years old and I had done something to somebody in the neighborhood. I had to go down and apologize to him, and he'd stand right there. And my dad's a good man, and he was a good father when I was growing up, and taught me the difference between right and wrong. And I think we learn those things by the time we're 5 or 6, and why people still at 40 years old act like they've never been taught that stuff is beyond me. But I feel like I know a lot of adults that act like they don't know the difference between right and wrong, don't you? Don't you feel like on a daily basis you deal with people and you're like, who were your parents? Like, what? Anyway, I've rambled long enough, and honest to God, the heat light is going off on my camera, so I probably should end this now before it just cuts off. I was all over the place tonight. Maybe my mom's dream meant that I'll win an Oscar. I mean, that I would die. Like, that's my biggest dream in the world. Could somebody out there that's a talent agent or knows something about movies, could you get me into acting? Like, I want to be in movies. Like, that's my next big dream. Is to be in movies or a TV show or to have my own talk show. I love that. Oh my God. That's my next dream that I'm going to aim for. I'm putting that out there into the universe. So, I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.